Hello. Today, Luca is going to present us a webinar that is going to conduct very soon in December, and it's all about 2025. So it is a very important year, which is going to lead us in 2026 or something even more important. So it's very important to get ready for 2025 because it will have a strong, definite influence on 2026, which we must be prepared for. Absolutely. What do you think about that, Lucas?
Hi, hello, hello everyone. Yes, indeed, that's extremely important to be prepared for what is to come because, as you mentioned, it's going to be something, as we say, right? Important shifts of planetary energies will occur in 2025 in order to fully blossom in 2026. And so the whole point of that is to be able to place oneself to benefit as much as possible from those strong energies. Because if we arrive in 2025 unprepared, those energies have two sides, right? And we can benefit from them if we know how to use them. Or if we happen to be a little bit lost and don't know how to handle that, we also might have some difficulties and might hit the pipe dream, as we say.
What is the planet, in your opinion, that is or planet or planets that are going to have the most influence, the strongest influence in 2025?
There will be many big and important changes. Uranus will change sign, Neptune will change sign, which is extremely rare, right? And I think that this one is going to be extremely strong and most probably the most powerful because it's not only Neptune that changes sign. Saturn will do exactly the same, and they will meet together in the very beginning of the zodiac sign of Aries. So it's a brand new beginning that will influence us all, the whole, mundane level as well as our individual lives. That's really what we can call a new beginning.
Yeah. And what about, did you mention Pluto and its transit in Aquarius?
We will, of course, because this is, like a sequence. Pluto is now in 2024 and already since last year changing to Aquarius, and it will be placed in a way as to welcome the other planets that are going to change sign next year. So it's very important to understand this, Pluto's transit, to be able to take full benefit of the others, because we can't just look at one point like that and cut it like a window of time or something that happens here and there. It's possible, of course, but it's a fragmentary approach. When you look at all the different transits, how they come one after the other, it gives you a much more vivid or living image of what happens. And that's what we will convey in the next webinar to get a full perspective on those very strong changes.
And I suppose that you will also talk about the links, the aspects between all those planets in transit around the zodiac.
Definitely. Because one planet changing sign is a shift in the way the planet works, what you can expect from the behavior, so to say, of the planet. But without the connections that the aspects are showing, we miss a big part of the picture.
Yes. And of course, I mean, the planets in changing signs are going to influence people born under those signs. But what about the others? Most probably they are as well influenced in various ways. Are you going to mention a bit about that as well?
Yes, indeed. Because if you're, Aries or Cancer or Capricorn, of course, you will have, especially for Aries, there will be this big configuration in the sign. But everybody in his or her own chart has Aries somewhere. So those influences will impact everyone, but in a different way for everybody. according to their own, chart and individualities. So learning to grasp the essence of what this means will help everyone to, place themselves in order to use this energy rather than um, face what happens unprepared.
Yes, and Mercury is going to have 3 periods of retrogradation during that year. And every time it's going to be about 3 weeks. I think it's occurring in the fire signs, Aries, Leo, and Sagittarius. So that may also be interesting to look at. I guess you'll probably tell us a bit about that as well.
Yes, absolutely. Anytime Mercury retrogrades, we have a possibility to get deeper in the understanding we have of that, specific energy. And as it is in fire signs, it's likely to trigger, other events and to put this energy of the big configurations into motion. So definitely we'll touch on that as well.
And there's also Venus. Venus is a very nice planet when it transits someone's sign. So that's also probably something that would interest anyone participating in this webinar to know when Venus is going to transit each sign so that they can relate that to whatever happens and what they can do out of it. Of course, Venus will increase the luck factor, for example, but that needs to be taken into consideration and used. I mean, if you're lucky and you don't do anything about it, luck is not going to strike. But if you are ready for it and you expect it, then you can make it happen, really. What do you think?
Yes, Venus is the luck factor, and next year in 2025, she will also have one retrograde period that is
Hmm.
quite rare. If we take the, uh, let's say, relative period of time in which planets do retrograde, Venus has the shortest of those retrograde time. In per year, Venus, if we just do the average, is the planet that retrogrades the less. So that's quite important to use that, and we will connect this and place it in relationship with Mars, because there's going to be some, parallels that we can draw between those two planets and their behavior and the retrogradation they will have. So we'll touch on that as well.
Okay, good, very good, very interesting. I was also thinking about the lunar nodes because they're going to change sign as well late in January. So that will also impact a lot the way we're going to behave.
As you said, this is a year with many different changes, so it definitely will. And we will also have a look at that, how this, lunar axis can be understood, because that's, if there is a point in astrology that is related to what we can do to our free will, I think this is really this nodal axis, the effort it takes to go from what, you know, presses us down on the ground like South Node, and what is it to get out of a situation and to progress toward our personal empowerment is definitely embedded in this lunar node. So this is a point that is worth mentioning.
Wonderful. Uh, if you have a bit of time toward the end of the webinar, perhaps you can tell us a bit about the potential influence of the black moon Lilith, which is going to also change sign sometime in 2025.
Yes, Lilith is also an important point, because to me it goes somehow along with the nodal axis, because those are points that are calculated using the moon. And so it's somehow talking to each other, or they are kind of resonating to each other. To be able to progress, follow the lunar node, we also need to fight the things we are afraid of. And that's Lilith. So they go together. And also mathematically, when you look at their behaviors, there is a very close relationship to the transits of those points. So yes, they go together, in my opinion.
That's very interesting. And yes, we probably also have to mention that anyone participating in this webinar will benefit from a quite a good discount on an order of a consultation, for example, with you, or a reading of any sort, and of course the astrology course. So that will be exclusively reserved for the participants for a period of about 72 hours, so 3 days, during which you can make up your mind. And if you wish to order a reading for 2025, for example, then Lucas will be only too happy to do it for you. And eventually I could as well do it if you let me know, and I'll have a look at my schedule, and perhaps I will be able to do a reading for some of you. And what about the date and time and so on of this webinar?
It will be held on the 7th of December 2024 at 2 p.m. UTC. So in the EST time, it's going to be 9 a.m. EST. And the replay is going to be available for a full year until the end of 2025. So if you register, you will be having the replay, whether you can make it live or not.
Well, that's very good to know, because some people have other things to do, anything that can come up, and prevent them from being there at that particular time and so on, which it could be quite restricting for some people. So don't worry about not being able to make it for this webinar, because you will receive, in any case, you will receive the replay. And if you forget to enroll in this webinar, you will also be able to purchase the replay. So we'll let you know anyway after that, after the webinar. Lucas is going to email everyone the link to be able to see this replay for a year. So that's it. Thank you very much, Luca. And I think it's going to be a very interesting webinar, which I'm going to, of course, participate in, for sure.